You are listening to a free version of the Majority Report with Sam Seder. To support the show and get another 15 minutes of daily program, go to majority.fm, please.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
It is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps and steps and steps and steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal, the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, pre-taped interview with Diane Ravitch on her book, Slaying Goliath, about the death of the corporate so-called school reform movement. But before we get to that, Senate passes new Corona stimulus bill, House expected to follow. And as of about a minute ago, I was going to tell you the House queues up a vote to allow lawmakers to vote in absentia for the first time in hundreds of years, opening up and democratizing this whole response to coronavirus. But Nancy Pelosi has shut it down. And that will not be happening. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice says it will now support legal action versus governors who maintain stay-at-home orders. And the Southern governors form a homicide-suicide pact to open up their states. CDC warns that the second wave of COVID likely to be worse in terms of its impact on hospitals. And the director of BARDA, a key agency in terms of vaccine development, leaves his post suddenly because why would we have anyone in any position in government who knows what they're doing? Hydroxychloroquine fails. Fox News now adrift. And the first COVID-19 deaths apparently happened in the U.S. at least as early as mid-February. Justin Trudeau calls for an assault weapon ban in Canada following killing of 16. And the Biden campaign, woefully underfunded, but also apparently very inept. All this and more on today's program, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Sorry, we had a little bit of a technical problem up top. Lost our internet connection on Matt's end. Brendan, you're going to pull down that music? Or yeah? Okay. Apparently the problem is that doing the show at noontime is probably peak usage for the internet over the course of the day, I would imagine. At least in terms of uploading is my guess. That's got to be it, right? From a downloading perspective, you would expect it that at nights would be it.
We did about 5 hours last night and absolutely no problems. And today it's just not good for Optimum, folks.
Well, and I got to say, not good for Optimum, but it's also not good for my my mental state because I was at least happy about that. I mean, we did part of the we actually did the headlines or halfway through the headlines, and then the internet crashed. And I had gotten past the House queuing up the vote to allow lawmakers to vote in abstention. This is the first time it would have happened in about 230 some odd years. And it's a big deal because we would start to get a sense of just like forcing lawmakers to engage in the process of these stimulus and bailout bills. And there's going to be more. There's going to be more, despite the fact that McConnell is now squawking about it. But allowing people to participate would mean that there would actually have to be some responsiveness and democracy involved in this process, that Nancy Pelosi couldn't just get and Chuck Schumer couldn't just unilaterally decide, look, this is what we're going to do because our strategy is to duck and to hide and to do nothing and hope that Donald Trump is so odious that people will vote for us in the fall. If we don't do anything, we cannot be subject to criticism. Or to the extent that we can be, it is far more difficult to criticize us for doing nothing than doing something. That's their strategy. And also apparently to go on to television and project that they're doing about as well as one could imagine in this situation relative to the rest of the American public. That they've got a great effing kitchen and they've got a stock, they've got, they're not even like, they're, you hear that thing about first world problems. Nancy Pelosi wants to apparently go on television and project that like she doesn't even have first world problems. She has like space station problems. Like not even like so transcendent that it's not even like, are we going to have ice cream or not? It's going to be like we all fight over the ice cream. So we've actually had to use our second freezer as a way of negotiating the various flavors of ice cream. This is an Elysium problem. And so that's their strategy. And apparently now, this is according to Alex Moe from NBC News, excuse me. The House will no longer consider remote voting by proxy this week, per a Democratic leadership source. Pelosi announced on a leadership call that after a conversation with McCarthy, they are tasking a bipartisan group of House lawmakers to review voting by proxy and reopening the House. In other words, we're going to shove this into a committee to stall it. Why are we doing this? Because McCarthy and I have decided that we're on the same page with this. They're going to get to do stuff, and we're going to pretend like everything's fine. And we don't want any meddling from the representatives of the people. I mean, this is just effing outrageous. And meantime, they're just getting rolled and rolled and rolled. Chuck Schumer announced after signing off on this latest sort of stopgap coronavirus stimulus bill that we're going to get all our good stuff in phase 4. And about 30 seconds after he announces that, Mitch McConnell's like, well, you know what? I think we're only going to do voting in town, and we got to start worrying about the deficit and the debt. I mean, this is getting a little bit out of control now. So my mood has significantly worsened in the past 3 minutes. So sorry about that, folks. Michael is joining us today via Zoom. Hello. Michael.
Well, I was going to say, how are you doing? But I know how you're doing, but it's nice to be talking with you. I saw this clip I've been mentioning of an interview with Parag Khanna, who's this policy guy who focuses on Asia. And it just drives me crazy with the Democratic Party, because he made a very good point, and it wasn't a radical point. And they were asking him about the authoritarian responses to this crisis versus democratic ones, and Asia and Europe. And he said, look, yes, of course, this is important to ask those questions. But let's be honest here. The highest performing countries are basically, relatively speaking, high-functioning democracies with great social safety nets. Like, yes, what Orban is doing is terrible. He's also not containing corona particularly well. Germany is. In Asia, South Korea, best performer. Taiwan, doing a really good job. So there is some elements here where it isn't that radical and it isn't counterintuitive or unexpected. It's just like, you have a decent democratic process and accountability. You have national health care. Cool. You will be, relatively speaking, better positioned to deal with this. And, you look at the Democrats, and I I always stipulate that I set aside my particular brand of politics to say, where is a bare minimum center-left response here? And, I don't know. I mean, bragging about getting extra hospital funding during a pandemic, okay. Sure.
Well, there's another dynamic that's happening here, and I want to get into it in a bit. I don't want to jump the gun on that. I mean, but the hospital funding, of course, yes. I mean, that's low hanging fruit. The thing they didn't get was the cities and states. And
no, that's what I'm saying is that they're claiming victory for low hanging fruit and not fighting. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is even that guy Michael Grunwald, who from Time Magazine, who
wrote the Obama stimulus is the best thing ever book.
Yes, and even he is like, all they're doing is getting stuff that the Republicans want. It's literally like, okay, your neighbor comes back from the supermarket. This is pre-corona, and they're carrying 3 bags. And they're like, will you carry one of my bags for me? I've got 2. And you say yes, and you carry it up the stairs. And then you think that you've gone grocery shopping, even though you leave it all in their apartment. Exactly. But we'll get to that, because I think there's a dynamic that's going on in the States that I think is starting to become clear to me as to what's going on, also with the openings in places like Georgia, and now they've formed some type of pact. I hope they call it the Confederacy, and I hope they go off on their own. Frankly, with all due respect, we'll have a time where we can orderly sort this out.
You don't want UN inspections of chemical weapons programs if they do that?
Well, eventually we would. I mean, what are they doing in terms of
now?
All right. Okay, folks, look, here's the deal before we go any further. The internet is causing us some real problems out of Matt's apartment. And so we are spotty on all our video situations. If we go under, if our stream crashes, we're just going to go on with the show and record it, and we will post it. But what we will also do, Matt, maybe you can do this, is just stream it to audio, so that if you get the app at majorityapp.com or you go to our website, and the app is free, we'll just stream it audio.
It goes through Vimeo too, but we'll try to stream through audio as well.
Do you not have the Nicecast there locally?
Oh, no.
That goes through.
Yeah, it does now, but we'll set that up.
Okay.
We'll try and do just the audio. See if maybe you can just send the audio to Vimeo. Okay. I don't know.
Okay. But we'll post the full show if we drop right afterwards.
Are we dropped right this second?
No, we're back.
No,
we're
not.
Back
okay.
now.
That's why I wanted to tell people.
Just
if
giving
we drop
people
this second, it wouldn't help. So go pick up the app at majorityapp.com. You can also watch the show on video live on that app as well. You can get YouTube through the app, so it's worth having in these situations. I should tell you right now that if I'm a little bit out of sorts, it's because my stash of Liquid IV matcha is out, and I'm waiting for more. For the first couple of weeks through this thing, that was basically what that's basically what I was living on. I was hitting it pretty hard. Half of Americans report they fight with daily fatigue. Right now, I feel like it's 100% of Americans.
Yes.
I keep seeing there's a meme that goes around where it's like, people are handing like coffee and bourbon, and it's like they're like a baton handing off from each other all day, every day.
A relay race.
But for me, I got to tell you, Liquid IV Energy Multiplier, it has been giving me sustained energy throughout the day. It's a great all-natural alternative to processed energy drinks. The premium matcha and green energy blend, it tastes delicious. It provides a lasting energy boost, like I say, throughout the day. It's like a couple cups of coffee without the crash. Liquid IV's Energy Multiplier contains a mixture of teas and herbs that are high in antioxidants. They help improve mood and focus. Maybe that's why I'm in such a pissy mood today, because I've run out of it. They have without any artificial flavors or preservatives. The cellular transport technology delivers enhanced rapid absorption into the bloodstream.